Good morning, all the participants. On behalf of Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Institute Innovation Council, and Technology Innovation and Incubation Center, I welcome you all for today webinar on orientation session on national innovation and startup policy. And today we have the speaker, Dr. Jehurullah from Alip Center. So that is the Atal Innovation Center from Hyderabad. So now I am requesting Dr. J. Sirisha Devi, Dean Science and Technology Startup Park, to introduce the speaker of today webinar.
Yes, good morning one and all. Most welcome to our orientation session on National Innovation and Startup Policy. Today we have a very renowned speaker, Dr. Zaurullah sir. He is a Chief Innovation Officer of Atal Incubation Center, Alip Hub. Right, and it is a hub sponsored by AIM, NITI, and Niti Aayog, Government of India. Coming to the qualification of Zaurullah sir, he did his BTech, MTech, and PhD from JNTU Hyderabad, and he did an accelerated development program that is on business administration and management from University of Chicago Booth School of Business Executive Education. So he started writing research papers from his intermediate standard itself. He stood first class with distinction from 10th to PhD and won hundreds of certificates, prizes, and accolades at district, state, national, and international level. He read around 6,000 books during his engineering graduation, covering most of the subjects. He is presently working as Chief Innovation Officer, heading Business Incubation Center, Strategy, Planning and Execution, Leadership and Innovation roles, spearheading, mentoring, Head of R&D, projects and programs, facilitating funding through banking, your venture capitals and angel networks, grants and financial support to startups, enterprises and industries. He's holding 70 plus startups in MSME sectors, electronics and engineering, IT and ITES, food processing, biotechnology, biodegradable technologies, garments and textiles, and 3D printing. This was a small introduction of Sir. Sir, a very warm welcome to you to our session, webinar session. And today the students, those who are going to listen to your session will be our first year students of electrical and electronic communications and triple students, electrical and communication and electrical students. So guys, this is a good opportunity for you all. So sir background is also from your domain. So if you have any doubts or if you have any ideas, basically let's talk about ideas. So if you have any ideas, if you feel that you can find a future in terms of turning yourself to an entrepreneur than being an employee, you are going to get a very good guidance from sir. So guys, back up, listen to sir carefully and please do post some questions so that if someone wants to, if few students will be there, sir, as these are first year students, few will be not much people are not fond of or used to talk in live sessions or virtual sessions. So at least guys, if one of you can pose a question, that doubt may be in the minds of the remaining 90 also, I can bet on that. No. So even their doubts will be clarified. So please don't be shy and please cooperate.
Roll number message.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So please, the session is over to you.
Right. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your great introduction. And
pleasure is all mine, sir.
Yeah. So good morning to one and all. Good morning to students. First of all, first year students of EC and EEE of Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dandigal in Hyderabad. And I hope that students are very much enthusiastic. And I hope that students are very much interested in innovations, entrepreneurship, and also in incubation as well. So now I would like to ask students first year students as you people are, and anybody can unmute yourself and then you can speak what is meant by innovation. Yeah, any student. You can unmute yourself and then you can speak what is the definition in generic means. So whatever you know, you can speak up.
An idea which comes up to a person which leads to development or progress in a way.
Good, good. So what is your name?
Arun Sarjana.
Good, Arun. Yeah. So that's a good definition given by you. So now what is a startup? Can anybody answer instead of Arun? Any other person? Yeah, any other person? What is a startup? You might have heard about startup companies. You might have heard
Establishing business.
establishing.
Business. A new business.
Good, very good. May I know what is your name?
Vamshi.
Sorry?
Vamshi.
Vamshi, good Vamshi. Fine. So that's very good. And what is meant by incubation center? Any of the student, you know, can unmute yourself and speak. What is meant by incubation center? Come on, you should. Incubation center or a business incubation center? Have you heard about the incubation centers? So your college is having an incubation center, technology-based incubation center. So what is the purpose of the incubation center? Any student?
Which helps startup companies to grow.
Correct, correct. What is your name?
Arun.
Again, Arun. So what about students?
Getting our ideas into realistic world, sir.
Fine, it will help you, your ideas to get into realistic world.
Sir.
Good. What is your name?
Sri Ram, sir. Sri Ramakrishna.
Good, Sri Ramakrishna. Fine, it's a good definition. So I hope that you people are following my slides. So is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Fine, right. So today we are going to know about what is the national policy on innovation and startups for students and faculty. So this talk is going to helpful for both the students and also the faculty. I hope that you people will understand from the policy of innovation which was made in 2019 by Ministry of HRD and in collaboration with the AICTE and so Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of HRD have done a very good job in terms of devising this policy in the year 2019. In fact, they started in the year 2018. So my dear students, please listen very carefully. So this policy has brought you a lot of opportunities in the field of innovations, entrepreneurship, becoming a good successful startup. So you may be having several questions in the sense of how should I become a startup company or do my entrepreneurship while studying. So for which, you know, there are a lot of provisions given to you people, to the students and faculty, including the faculty who will support you in your journey, in your entrepreneurship journey. So previously, you know, it's just doing an engineering education and then graduating out, which will fetch you a employment. But now the trend has been changed. We have seen several people, several success stories coming up into entrepreneurship and becoming a great success story. So students, you have to start from first year onwards. That's why this meeting was arranged by your college and people like your technology business incubator heads and your principal, your college chairman. So they have a vision of promoting entrepreneurship and innovation among you people. So now it is an opportunity for the first year students. So listen very carefully about what I am going to speak. It has a lot of provisions That's what I mean to say. So the policy was released in the year 2019 for higher education institutions, for faculty and students, where you take up the entrepreneurship and you make it a company your own, and then you will grow in terms of financial growth, and of course contributing to the GDP of the country, and thereby coming as a successful venture development. So this is what the main mission and vision of the policy to support you. And remember that you should learn several entrepreneurial concepts, and you should develop entrepreneurial traits in you, so that you will make it into a good transformation of yourselves. Because students right now, you are in a very raw stage in terms of not having proper engineering skills. So where you will help you in getting engineering principles, engineering skills for technology, and also for your self-development and your career development. In fact, so as I told, it is for employment generation that always one will look, a student will look, 99% of students go for employment. But now the trend has been changed. The government is supporting you to become an entrepreneur and a startup company, and you will in turn give a lot of employment to other people. So that's the motto behind. And nowadays, the risk taking, business means risk taking, you know very well. Business means risk taking. Faculty know very well about this. So students, you have to know that how the risk can be managed. Risk can be managed. That you have to remember. Risk can be managed. There are very, very a very well guided principles, a very well written framework, methods and several interventions where one can manage the risk, one can manage the business. So that was there, and people have written, success stories are there. We have number of case studies who have undergone such kind of the transformation. So now we have the learning, we have that kind of success which will give you, or even we have the failure stories, even that also give you a lot of a good feedback, a good a kind of support to you. So that's how the entrepreneurial ecosystem have grown in the country for the last several years, and now we have come up with this policy to support the people. So the salient features of the policy includes several strategies implemented, and there are several institutional infrastructure was made, and a complete environment was created for your entrepreneurship and startup development. And also there are several technologies, several ownership of the rights for your technology development, or you can say the innovation. And what are the support from the college point of view and from the faculty point of view, and also what are the different pathways for which the entrepreneur at institute level should grow up, and what are the norms for the startup faculty startups. So you see, you have no student startups and faculty startups. Even faculty were given an opportunity, and such provisions were given in this policy. So there are certain capacity building for the institutes. The institute should come up with an capacity building. To build that capacity, there are certain collaborations that has to be happened, and it is nothing but an network support, a network that should be established between different stakeholders. So I will explain you all this in detail, and I will simplify most of the terms for you people, because you are all first year students who have come up from intermediate background and now just entered into your engineering, and you might have completed few of your classes in the first year, which has several subjects, which has a common subjects. So you people have come up from, you people are going to study about the ECE and EEE, electronics and communication engineering, or it may be electrical and electronics engineering. So let us see how these silent features will give you a support or provisions in the in starting your own startup company. So the subject may look very difficult, but I will just simplify you very, very common terms. So you can read out here, but what I can say is I will pick up few points out of the strategies and the of the policy, where how the strategy of the policy was made is to support the startups by having their own company registering. Even you can register your company from the first day onwards of your engineering, because there is no depth for eligibility of entrepreneurship to become a startup company. You should be 18 years of age. So you can you did not have a particular eligibility or qualification. But of course, a qualification will also help you a lot. You should remember that point, that if you do a better you get a better skill development. I take the word skill development out of your engineering education. It's not just, that you have got some marks and then you have passed out. No, you should have a good skill development. So if you are an electronics engineer, if you are an electrical engineer, you can do miracles. In your same field, you just absorb the complete subject and know what is the essence of the subject and know the principles of electronics and electrical engineering, where you can apply the same into entrepreneurship. How? That's what I would like to give you some more insights on this. So we have several institutes. You can see here I have mentioned DST, DBT, MHRD, TIFAC, DSIR, CSIR. These are the R&D institutes and ministries departments where they will encourage you in applying for several schemes, grants that would be available for funding. So any institute should support the funding criteria, the funding to the startups. So it may be the student startup or faculty startup. The institute should at least give 1% of their fund to allocate it into the incubation center. They should set up an incubation center, of course. So you do have a technology-based incubation center, and it's a great opportunity for you people from your college. So it is a direct policy was made in such a way that the incubators and academic institute may approach the private and corporate sectors for funding, or for the CSR, which is nothing but corporate social responsibility. So generally in any company, they have CSR funds, corporate social responsibility funds. We do have a number of companies who have made a fund, CSR fund, and they would allocate some seed amount to the startup companies. And it is a mandate now that at least 1% of CSR amount they should allocate, and it should be given as a fund to the startup companies. So that as a mandate was made long back by the government. Of course, the same was written here in this policy. So you have you should actively engage with the alumni of your college. So the point goes to the college managing team and also to the faculty. You should know that the alumni network should be actively connected. So I have been observing about Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College is doing very good for a long time. I guess for in a decade, more than that. So I see several advertisements and several a news about the college. It is doing well. Now, we can have an CSR mobilization of the funds, and then it can be supported. So now the startups enabling institutional infrastructure. You should have the technology business incubator should always have a good infrastructure. You may be we generally call it as makerspace, We call it as Fab Lab, which is a fabrication lab, and or it can say you can say even an innovation lab. So such kind of department should be there, and the college should support you with pre-incubation and incubation facility, and to the staff and to the faculty, and all the departments within the college should get merged up, and the department should work integrated mechanism, and there should be a good R&D, and there should be a good innovations that should come up from the institute as well. So there is an incubation cum technology commercialization unit should be there in the college to support you all. Why? Because you have a project. Listen very carefully, my dear first year students. So what you have to do, you have to work out on a project. The project has a proof of concept. It can be started with an idea, and you should develop a proof of concept. From the proof of concept to you have to get to a prototype stage. From that you have to get a product. Remember that there is a lot of difference between having an idea and transforming that into a research, and a research ending up with an publication, or you can say ending up with just an a kind of reporting that we have done this innovation. So reporting means nothing but the publication of the research. So we don't want that to end there. It should be commercialized further. So when you look for any kind of product, you look at it in terms of commercialization. So you have to make the product into commercialization, then only you will become a good startup, and you can enter into entrepreneurship. So that is why it has to be incubation cum technology commercialization unit. So this is how we have to do it. And when we take the term innovation, there should be patenting, intellectual property rights, which means intellectual property rights have patents, it has copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, geographical indications, and plant breeders' rights. So these are the different intellectual property rights, out of which patents are the one which would be given for any kind of innovation. It may be the product innovation, or it may be the process innovation. Yeah, one more thing I would like to ask you students, that you should write down on the paper when you are listening to this lecture. So that's very much important. So write down my points. The points which are written here in the slides are not only the one, but you should take the points from my side, which verbally I'm speaking, and you should note down them, which is a more additional information than the slides, which is mentioned over here. So now, before moving ahead, I would like to ask any student, can you able to tell me what the points I have just mentioned? 1 or 2 points are enough. Just unmute yourself and then speak on, or even a faculty member can speak on. Yeah, any student or faculty, what you have understood?
Guys, unmute yourself. You might have listened to sir, right? So unmute yourself and talk to sir once. Yes, Adele. So it is basically an event for establishing of startups. In the previous sessions also we were discussing about up to everyone will join in engineering to become an employee, right? But a handful of people will have a dream of becoming an employer in the first hand, right? So to come here to grab your ideas or nurture your ideas and turn yourself to an entrepreneur, you need to have a gut, and you must be able to absorb the inputs given by the experienced. So you need to concentrate, guys. And yes, one of you unmute yourself and tell, so whatever you have heard and whatever you understood till now. Whatever you have understood till now, kindly.
Right. I think the students are hesitating to
Yes, sir. As I said in the
Like-
previous note, they are first year students. They might be hesitating.
Right.
They feel shy
So,
of
what is the status of the students? Whether they have completed halfway of the syllabus, or any classes happened, or they are new right now?
Sir, they have finished half of the way, sir. So they're
Good, good.
soon.
I hope that the college
they're
might have
having first midts.
correct. So I hope that faculty may have interacted well, and then students have come up with a good, answering sessions and all. So students, please listen very carefully. So now I would like to move ahead further, and also I will ask you some more questions. You have to answer me. So it is not just one way of my presentation. You have to compulsorily you have to answer. You should, each and every student has to be mobilized. Each and every student should get motivated from my talk. That's what I expect always. And there should be an outcome from this guest lecture as well. So students, so I have spoken about how the technology based incubators or the business incubators has to set up in an academic institute, and then how a startup or faculty startup or student startup would be supported, how you have to start your company, and what are the provisions given in the policy, and what is meant by an IPR. And now I would like to speak about two words on incubation and pre-incubation opportunities. So listen that incubation means nothing but, so you, for example, I would like to give egg. You might have seen an egg, how the egg grows into a chicken. I mean, a chick, which in hen. So the egg has particular type of incubation period. So we call it as an 20 or 30 days of incubation period. So that would come into a chick, and then it will transform into a complete bird. So any bird would give you a egg. So that has an incubation period. So now the incubation period is nothing but the growing stage. So similarly, for a company to grow, the incubation centers will provide you the facility, a platform to grow into a very transformed business unit. So it's an incubation center is nothing but, it is called as a business incubation center, and one can transform themselves into a complete company. So thereon you will grow with your business marketing, and then further your product sales in the market. So that's how the that's how the incubation center will support. I will take best examples: Microsoft, Bill Gates, you know very well, and you know several companies, Google CEOs, and you know several people who have started their own, and they have come up with such a success story where the company valuation has reached to several lakhs and crores of dollars, and the company stood number one in the world. You may take Facebook, or you can take the startup companies in India, like you have Delivery, you have Uber, you have Ola, or you have an Flipkart, and you have many unicorn companies that will, where these founders have started from their graduation, and they have made the companies, and they have come up with such a success story. So now incubation centers will provide you definitely a platform, and the pre-incubation program, which is nothing but supporting the startups at early stages. Suppose say that you have an idea, and then you want to transform that idea. So definitely that would be supported by a pre-incubation mechanism, by a pre-incubation program, by a incubation center like TBA of your college. So that is what is meant by pre-incubation or the incubation facility is. So I hope that you people are following up. So there is another provision given in the policy where they nurture the innovations. You have to have a very good programs in terms of the MBA, because MBA is the management department, and the MBA department should play an important role. Of course, it plays a vital role because it is related to the business and administration. So the college should have a very good MBA, or you can say the business administration department. It should also have an R&D department. It should also have a very good incubation center that combines, integrates this. So the R&D department should be integrated with several departments, and the innovation, some of the clients in the innovation should be supported from different branches. You know, you require software to be developed. So you have to have the people who are experienced in software development. You should have a very good basic electronics and electrical lab where the experts should be there, where they should support you. And the MBA college should have the people who will support you in writing the business plan. So business plan writing is very much important, where the MBA college would support you. Not only that, it will support you in several aspects. It will train you, which is nothing but an entrepreneurship development training, and it will train you in terms of developing the traits of entrepreneurship, and also in terms of business, marketing, sales, and whatnot. So a student should undergo all these awareness. He should undergo the complete, skill development in terms of entrepreneurship. Next, mentorship. Mentorship is very important. Mentors are nothing but the people who will guide you. The experts in that field is referred as mentors. Mentor means guru. So your faculty will play a role of guru. Faculties are always the mentors. Now, according to their profile of the faculty, they act as mentors in that field. Suppose, say, a faculty have come up with a good subject knowledge, research knowledge. So he will help you in your technology development. Suppose a faculty have come up with a good business knowledge. So he will help you in growing your business. Similarly, marketing. Similarly, you have several areas of the expertise of the people. They will help you to become a mentor, to help you out in developing your technology product, or you can say your business, your marketing, everything. So that's how the mentors will help you out. So now there is a provision made in the policy stating that the institute or the college can take an equity share of 2% to 9.5%. It was written here clearly. When you do the business, dear students, remember, just listen very carefully. When you do the business, you will get returns. Returns means, so the profit, out of the profit, if the institute have, the college have helped you in making your startup to grow with its technology development, or by giving you proper mentorship or giving you funding, then there would be an agreement taken prior. If in case your startup grows with a profit for a particular period, you say 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, we will be sharing the equity amount of 2% to 9.5%, and you have to pay that amount, that shareholding, that amount, equivalent amount to the college itself. So the institute may take that percentage. It was clearly written in the policy. And moreover, if the college has supported you in developing the patent, IPR, then it is also suggested that a limit of 9.5% of shareholding would be taken. And there are certain provisions made again for staff and faculty, where the institute can take not more than 20% of the shares. in case the faculty is drawing the full salary, in case there is an 9.5% cap of company shares, and so there is no restriction on the shares that faculty or staff can take if as long as they do not spend more than 20% of office time on the startup in advisory or consultative roles. So that is what it was clearly mentioned over there. And so you have to share some kind of percentage to the institute as well, for which you have to do an agreement. Remember, doing agreement is very, very important. Without agreement, you shouldn't take forward. Even the institution has to take this as a serious matter, or the startup has to take it as a serious matter. Both has to come to a common terms. After the agreement only, the funding should be given to the startup, or the support should be given to the startup. Remember this point. Where exactly the people will fail is here. Without doing the agreement, they are moving ahead. I hope that these have make you a sense. Can anybody unmute yourself and then speak out? I just give you 1 minute time. Any student, I want a student to speak out on this.
Yes, sir. Can I?
Yeah, may I know who is this?
Uday.
Yeah, Uday, speak up.
According to what I have understand, I will say something, sir. The incubation centers or the institution will invest on our idea. Then if our idea gets success, they will take some profit shares or any royalties according to the success.
Yeah, that's all.
Yes, sir.
Fine, good points. That's a good add-on points, I can say. So any other student?
When a student, sir, my name is Arun.
Yeah, Arun.
When a student has a startup idea, the incubation center will help them to grow up, will guide them in to grow up their company, and the mentors will help them with skill development of the students for the idea to grow. And they should also have some shares of the or to make agreements, because that is important when we keep a startup company, so that the mentors can help you in a good progressive way. And the skill development is important when the students to keep the company.
Correct. Very good. Good. Next, any other student? Only 2-3 students are active out of 100+ students for today's session. I want each and every one of you to be active. Okay, fine. I will go on further, proceed with a few more slides, and then I will come back and I will ask you the same question. And now I expect not the students who have just answered, but new students should answer, right? I will give opportunity for the next students. Fine. So now let us see some more provisions in the policy. Product ownership rights for technologies developed at institute. This is very much important. Dear students, being the first year students, you should have a good basics in electronics and electrical engineering. Remember this point very well. You should have good basics. Without basics, you cannot do anything. Don't expect to become a startup company without basics of your engineering concepts, because you should develop a technology. To develop a technology, you should have basics in engineering. You should study thoroughly about the subjects, whether it may be the electronics, digital circuits subject, or it may be the electronic communications, it may be the digital signal processing, it may be digital image processing, it may be the microcontrollers, it may be the microprocessors, or it may be the network communications. And you have several subjects like artificial intelligence, you have electrical engineering subjects, where you will learn about the how exactly the electrical technologies would be developed in terms of your electricity circuit boards, or you can say the transformers, or you can say the electrical and electronics integration that would give you a new new applications in several fields. So we have a close integration between the electronics and electrical engineering, and of course to the computer science also. So that have given a very good applications in many areas. So to understand that, to become an innovator, you should have this knowledge. After that, when you do start a project by researching yourself, then you will develop a product. So that will give you a lot of impact in transforming that into a commercialization stage and become a successful company. You will take an IPR patent for that. You can be being an inventor or innovator, you will be taking a product patent, and even you can develop with the institute as well. The faculty or the institute will fund you. Institute may fund you for the development of the technology, where there would be a shared rights between the institute and the innovator. Innovator can be a faculty or a startup. So in that way, the institute will also get an product ownership rights because they have funded you. For this, even you have to write an agreement. Remember that before forwarding that project proposal, you should write an agreement on 100 rupees stamp paper. Then only you have to do this. Otherwise, don't do this. Stop it. Both institute and then startup, you have to stop. Don't forward your products or your innovations, because at the end, several people will fail and then end up by having several conflicts. So we avoid such kind of conflicts between the institute or the startup company. It may be the faculty startup or it may be the student startup. Remember always, ideas are very valuable. Ideas are valuable. Don't just speak your ideas in front of any person. You write them and then do copyrights or patent them. You have to do the copyright or patent, and then you have to execute that project. Otherwise, some other people may copy it and then may forward and then go ahead. And you cannot climb. You cannot climb further because you have not done it. So there will be an, it was written clearly here. You can see the license fees could be either upfront fees or one-time technology transfer fees. So when you do a technology development and commercialize it, then you can license that product. You can license it to any kind of person where they will pay you certain fee amount and they take your innovation and do commercialization as well. So you can sell your product for commercialization to any startup company. The institute can do, and also the student can do. So the institute have the right, when they would do a proper agreement, that your technology developed would be commercialized by the institute itself, and that would be licensed to any party. So this is what written in the policy. They can have a royalty and they can have the shares in the company as well. So this is what the provision made. So even it is clearly mentioned here that if one or more of the inventors wish to incubate a company and license the product to this company, the royalties would not be more than 4% of sale price, and preferably 1 to 2% unless it is a pure software product. It cannot be, it not always a software product. It can be any product. So I can say that this should be a variant. It's not always a software product. It can be any kind of product. So now let us see some more provisions. So we have 2 more provisions that will end up, and then I will further move into a fantastic presentation again. Of course, this is also a fantastic presentation. So now, so organization capacity and human resources and incentives. So what should your college should do? for supporting you. So it says clearly that the relevant faculty members, that means the faculty who have innovation capability, the faculty who have the invention capability, such kind of people. So some of the relevant faculty members, so with prior exposure and also the interest, so they should be deputed for training to promote the innovation and entrepreneurship. So this is what is written. This goes directly to the faculty members, and also to achieve better engagement of staff in entrepreneurial activities. So the faculty should be given a very good priority in terms of whether it may be related to their leaves or their casual use, their sabbatical use. So whatever it comes, so that you have to, the faculty should be given such kind of provisions to develop their own innovations and support even the student startups. So there should be a faculty identified within the institute where they have to become a startup or they support the student startup. So this is what is written in the policy, innovation policy of 2019 of Ministry of HRD, Human Resource Development. So these are the things which will come directly. And let us see one more provision given by the policy stating that creating innovation pipeline and also pathways for entrepreneurs at institution level. So the institute should establish Institution Innovation Council, IIC. So that's a mandate. Institution Innovation Council should be there with clear guidelines in the institution to promote and develop these startups and entrepreneurship. So that should be there. So I hope that your college, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, would have set up this IIC and further your incubation center as well. So what they have to further do is that, so they have to develop a ready reckoner of innovation toolkit. It means there should be a strategy and pathway for the innovation. The pathway is nothing but it starts with ideation and then creating a proof of concept, then prototype stage. It can be done with hackathons, ideathons, and boot camps, thereby developing the technology readiness level of any kind of innovation. We have technology readiness levels 1 to 9, and that should be developed. And the business readiness level, even the market readiness level, that should be promoted for a startup company. So this is what was written here. So I hope that I am very much clear. So let us see some two more policies, and then I will end up within 5 minutes. This policy document, or we can say the complete guidelines. So I would like to ask 1 or 2 students to speak up what the points I have just spoken, and I will give you 1 minute time. Please proceed. Right. So let me move ahead. That's fine. So here are some of the norms for the faculty startups. So it is directly to the faculty members. So it clearly says about the role of the faculty, that they can be an owner of a company, or they can be a mentor, they can be a promoter, or even they can work as a consultant, and they can be taken as a such a consultant role or a mentor role within the startup company. The startup company, you can say it can be a student startup company. The faculty can have their own startup company. So they can become a managing director of within the their company, and they can incubate within the college incubator or within any kind of incubator, of course. So even the institute should work on developing a policy of conflict of interest. So the institute should clearly mention in the conflict of interest where they wanted to get the clarity when the faculty is having a startup, and have to ensure about the roles and responsibilities and the job work of the faculty, their timetable, which is in the workload of the faculty, or you can say they can have it was clearly mentioned that the faculty startup may consist of faculty members alone or with the students or with faculty of other institutes. So it is giving you a complete flexibility of becoming a startup company where you can join into another startup company as a founder, co-founder, having a shareholding shareholding mechanism and partnership. So it can be within the reach. It need not to be within your college. It can be in any other incubator or any other company as well. So this is an excellent flexibility of the policy. So we have a pedagogy and learning interventions for entrepreneurship development. So pedagogy is nothing but the method of teaching, method of administrating and promoting the innovation and entrepreneurship. And so the institute should develop this entrepreneurship development mechanism. They have to have a pedagogy for this. You should have a clear, the EDP department that should build up the students into entrepreneurship. A entrepreneurship education should be promoted well, and it should be there in the curriculum. And you should come up with time to time pedagogical changes and learning interventions. So this is what it was written in the policy, and the institute should have an innovation and entrepreneurship award. They should frame this award and give best awards to the startups within their college or inviting other colleges, or even it should be open to the pan-India level. So this is what was written in the policy. So now let us see the collaboration, co-creation and business relationship. The institute should have a very good collaboration with the MSME. We have Ministry of MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises. So MSMEs are the one which are nothing but the companies that are giving a lot of support to the national, to the country. It covers almost 40% of the complete GDP was promoted by the MSME sectors in India. All the companies would be registered as MSMEs. Every company is an MSME because micro, small and medium enterprises are having two categories: manufacturing sector and service sector. Manufacturing sector and service sector comes with a definition of micro, small, medium enterprises based upon the turnover of the company. If you have a below 1 crore turnover, it is micro. If it is 10 crores below, small, 100 crores below, it is medium. So that's what the classification of MSME was given as per the recent definition of MSME by the Ministry of MSME. And further, the institute should develop the policy and guidelines and knowledge exchange centers, knowledge management centers. You should have a good database through ICT, information and communication technology. And you should have a good connects with institutes of MSMEs. ELIP, VHub or ELIP is a good MSME based institute, and it has been promoting the entrepreneurship and building the entrepreneurs for the last 25 years with 10,000 women entrepreneurs alone. So this is what you should have a collaboration, you should have a promotion, you should have a good network. So this is what is written in the policy that would help you, the students and faculty, and of course ultimately to the whole nation. So the last word comes is the policy word comes is the entrepreneurial impact mechanism. So under which it was clearly mentioned that the impact assessment should be there. The entrepreneurship and impact assessment, wherein the institute should clearly have a pathway that comes within a excellent support, whether it may be the pre-incubation, incubation and acceleration support. Acceleration is nothing but giving you the funding, giving a funding for the startup company. So you should have a strategy, planning and execution, a clear execution in terms of this entrepreneurial development. And the institute should play a very good role in terms of impacting in the society. The students should get transformed into entrepreneurs. When you people come out, dear students, and institute, it's my a very good and a strong urge that all the students should become entrepreneurs. It is, you should not look for an employment that I work for a so and so company. No, I should have my own company. 99% of the students here from your batch should come up with entrepreneurs and to become a startup. Don't look for any job. Don't do any kind of higher education. BTech with a sound knowledge in your ECE or a triple E is enough. And you should have your own technology development. You should have your own product. You should have your own innovation. You should have your own patent. You should have your own startup. Then make it a boom from India. You need not go to any other country. You need not go for US, MS. You need not go for higher studies. You just come up with your startup company, dedicate, you sacrifice your time, you work out dedicatively, do hard work, and you work out in this only focused way. Be stable. Don't take the wrong decisions. Even if it is right or wrong, you should stick up with the decision making, which is, if it is yes, stick with that. If it is no, stick with that. So that's the decision making you have to take. And then move up. Don't look back. And you just focus on yourself. Don't compare with others. Never compare with others. Everybody has their own way, and everybody was made in their way. Don't listen to the people who will divert your mind. You know better what you want to do, and you work out on that way. So these are the points which I would like to tell you. Nearly 10 points I have told you, just like 10 commandments. So now students, just spoke with me what I have spoken in the last few slides. Anybody can unmute yourself and go ahead. Yes, yes.
Yeah, guys, any doubts or any questions from you, please try to ask. K4.
Sir, can you tell us about solopreneurship? We heard around this decade, sir, about solopreneurship.
No, can you put the question on the chat box? I think it's not clear.
Yeah, you can give the review in the chat box.
Guys, if you have anything, any review on this session, you please put it in the comment box. I will try to convey to the sir.
Come on, you should be active. One of the mode of becoming a good entrepreneur is communication skills. You should have a good communication skills, good listening skills, and good speaking skills, and good writing skills. Otherwise, you cannot grow. You have to come up.
So guys are asking about the solopreneurship, sir.
Yeah, what is that?
As an individual, like solo means individual, like entrepreneurship, how it will be look like, the students are asking.
Solopreneurship is nothing but the entrepreneurship itself, and it's nothing but a proprietorship, where one individual will be there in the company and you are registering as a proprietor company. So that will help you out, but we encourage the people to go in partnership always, because proprietorship will have a lot of limits. So proprietorship, you are the decision maker, and we have seen that in proprietorship many of the startups have been failed. So always we encourage this this partnership. So have a partnership and then move ahead. That's my straightaway answer.
Okay, sir.
So now, students, let us see what is an incubation center. And I would like to speak about our incubation center, which we are having, our organization, ELIP. So ELIP is Association of Lady Entrepreneurs of India. The institution has been giving women entrepreneurship support, end-to-end support to the women entrepreneurs, and the institution has a lot of departments, out of which one is the incubation center, and we have this manufacturing multi-sector incubation center for MSME startups. It is the only one incubation center in India which supports the MSME startups. It is called VHub, Women Entrepreneurs Hub. Moreover, it is ELIP VHub, and it is supported by the Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog Government of India, and it is called as Atal Incubation Center, ELIP VHub. So we have our President and CEO, Ramadevi Garu. She is the head of the ELIP President and also the CEO of the Incubation Center. The vision and mission of the Incubation Center is to promote the women entrepreneurs in India, especially the one who are having the innovations. When any woman entrepreneur is having innovation, idea or prototype or product, they would be taken up into the incubation center and they would be supported well. So this is what the vision and mission is. So we inaugurated back in June 2019. Of course, this is the Atal Incubation Center I am speaking, but our institute is having experience in incubation centers for the last 15 years. We are the first one in India to start incubation centers. And for the last 15 years, we have livelihood business incubators, we have technology-based incubators, and entrepreneurship. There is a separate department by called Center for Entrepreneurship Development, and we are giving 24/7 and 365 days of entrepreneurship training to the entrepreneurs, not only women, but also to men. So it is equally for all, and more priority will be given to the women in terms of the shareholding. If it is a startup company, the startup company definition of DPIT, which is nothing but the Department of Promotion for Industrial and Infrastructure Trade, which speaks directly that a startup company means it should be 10 years old and it should have below 100 crores turnover, and it should be a private limited and LLP or partnership, and there should be the innovation. So these are the three criteria. And if you talk about the women, we do have the eligibility of taking 75% women seats and 25% to the men, even if the men will be taken into the company, and they should give 50% share to the woman. So this is the criteria made. And in focus sectors, you can see here our focus sectors. We are focusing into biotechnology, food processing, garments, textiles, IT, ITS, biodegradable technologies, electronics, engineering, and 3D printing. We have about 45 startups with us, and in pre-incubation about 15 plus startups, and the incubation period is for 1 year. So this is what our incubation center does. We have mentioned here these sectors, but we call the applicants from different sectors also. We will take them into the incubation center. So I hope that you people are listening here. Do you have any questions?
Sir, one guy is asking that is it possible to meet the two startups and form a big company with some mentorship?
To form a big company?
Yeah, by combining the two startups.
No, it's not the way. So when you are combining startup means it is nothing but the startups, companies are merging. It is called mergers and acquisitions. So it's an merging is a way of combining 2-3 companies. We have many such kind of examples. You can see two institutions are merging. They will come to a common point. The merging and acquisition will take place after growing. You
Yes.
cannot merging in when you are in a you can merge a basic level startup companies, but there is nothing to do with that because you might have not built up the revenue generation. You may not you might have not evolved yourself. You have not come into a mature stage of the company. So merging at an early stage would not help you out. Merging in a growth stage of a company with a good terms of turnover, if you have an 100 crores turnover, other company, B company is having 100 crores turnover, both want to merge, you can merge by having a common terms and agreement MOU. And then you can define what you can do in the next steps. We have seen many companies who have merged like that or acquired. One company will acquire another company. So that's a different thing. So
Okay.
move ahead. So what and how we select the startup companies? So we have a screening mechanism. We have a screening committee members, a very high level empaneled screening jury members we do have who will select our startup companies. So we have the people from different backgrounds, maybe the government, maybe the academia, R&D, and from the industry. And then we select the startups by interacting with them throughout the day. So we will assess their ideas, we will assess their prototypes, their products, and then we will take up them further. So what we provide, what an incubation center would provide, we have a very good infrastructure in terms of co-working space for the startup companies. We provide the office space and we provide a complete infrastructure. We provide business advisory services. We do the business plan, DPR preparations. We do the company registrations. We will do regulatory compliances. Suppose say you have a food sector company, it should have an FSSAI certification. Do that FSSAI certification. We do means in the sense of we facilitate. It's not something like we directly sit and apply. We will help you out in applying for that. So that's how the incubation center supports. We have a very good connect with R&D institutions for technology development, for innovation development, for getting the mentors, scientific mentors from ICRISAT, BIRAC, NIFTEM, CFTRI, RICH, IMR. And if you look into the policy document of National Policy for Startups and Faculty, it was clearly mentioned the same institutes which I have written here way back, some few years back, 3-4 years back, before the policy came, we had the MOU with these institutes. And coincidentally, same institutes names mentioned in the policy also. So you can see our institution, how we have reached, how our organization ELIP have reached before prior to the people who have mentioned, and we know very well, it speaks about our capacity building, our institute capacity building, our leadership team, our CEO, President Ramadevi Madam. So it speaks about the leadership. So you should have a good, great leader behind you to take up further, to support the startups. And mentoring, as even it was written in the policy document about mentoring, that we do have 100 mentors with us. We do have 100 mentors from industry, CEOs from the companies. We have technology mentors, we have scientific mentors, we have academic mentors. So we have corporate mentors. We do have a very strong network of mentors, and we do a lot of programs, training programs, workshops for the startups. So we do a lot of corporate partnerships with institutes, with association bodies. We are also an association body, which is referred as Association of Lady Entrepreneurs of India. And we do have very good connects with the funding process. It may be the government schemes, or we can take the grants amount, or we can take the banking loans, or angel networks, or the venture capitalists. We have a strong connection with them in the sense of, because an incubation center should have these capabilities. So we do have it. So we have an CGT MSc scheme, or in a collateral free scheme is already in existence in ELIP for a long time, for the last, which is called ACGA, wherein we have given about 100 plus banking loans. Getting one loan is very difficult. You know, we have reached several stages. So we do have a very good connection of a government schemes. Our startups have received several grants. So we do product exhibitions where the networking would happen, where the business would happen. We do number of product exhibitions, and we call several stakeholders, and we promote the startups. So IPR and technology transfer facilitation cell, one incubation center should have a strong, yes, we do have. We are well connected with technology transfer. Suppose say that you don't have any idea, you have not built up any idea. Our R&D organization in India, about 500 plus R&D organizations are there. They have scientists. We have about some 10,000 scientists around India. They have developed some innovations. That innovations can be commercialized, and they can be licensed to any party, any citizen of India. We have NRDC, National Research Development Corporation. You can see here, even this NRDC was mentioned in the policy document. Just you go through the policy document, NRDC was mentioned. We have MOU with NRDC. So we have tie-up where technology commercialization can be taken up. Anybody can access us because we are the only one agency of NRDC to have the technology transfer franchise in India. And we are receiving this. We are having the database of all the technologies available. And we support the startups who doesn't have the idea, who doesn't have the technologies. They can license and then they can become an innovation startup. They can become a startup company. So likewise, we do have an IPR cell where we do the patenting of the startups. We have a strong connect with the IPR, several departments of Government of India and other stakeholders. So this is how we support the startups with the missionary area. The missionary supports in terms of prototyping, product development, and MVP stage. MVP stage means minimum viable product. It is the go-to-market strategy. So this is what we do here. So in biotechnology, food processing, biodegradable, socks, and solar dryers, we have 1 ton production per day. You can do any kind of prototyping and product development and come up with your startup into a success story. These are our startups. I don't want to go into detail because we do have limitation of the time. It will take another 2-3 hours to discuss about our startups. We do have innovations in all these sectors: biodegradable food processing, startups having in food sector with millet-based and diabetic food, proven results with clinical trials and well-established connections with the institutes like Apollo hospitals and pharma stores. We promoted their business and they have acquired in such a way. And we do have the startups who have built up excellent, the products which will kill the coronavirus during COVID times, and proven results from the R&D institutes of Government of India. And they have reached in funding stage, and we have funded them with lakhs of rupees, and then even they have received grants of within 8 months of our establishment. We have received about 4.8 crores of funding to the startups in the form of banking, or you can say the grants. So we have the success stories. Under PMEGP scheme, 6 of our startups have received 1.26 crores. So these are our collaborators in corporate, academic, R&D, and several. Yes, TIDE 2.0 scheme, which is technology, innovation, and development of entrepreneurs. So now, under this scheme by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, we have about 3 crores fund, out of which we are supporting the startups who have been focusing in these areas. All these 7 areas of the national concern would be supported: infrastructure, environment, health care, education, agriculture, financial inclusion, clean energy. So about the grant amount would be given 4 lakhs, 7 lakhs, and 40 lakhs. 4 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 40 lakhs. you come up with an idea to proof of concept, 4 lakhs, proof of concept to prototype stage, 7 lakhs, and a growth stage, 40 lakhs. So this is what the grant amount we give to the startups. But you should have innovation, and that innovation should be with IoT, Internet of Things. Dear students of electronics and electrical engineering, listen very carefully. You should develop the technologies with IoT, Internet of Things. So this is an a interface between electronics and the computer science. This application directly gives you to be very sound in the subject. You should read your subject very well. You should follow your teachers, your faculty, your labs, your workshops, your lab experiments, and also you should come up with an idea of innovation. Then project, you should do a very excellent project. Then only you can able to develop the technology and look into a problem statement and then work out on that problem with technologies. You will come up with a great solution of a product. Then you can commercialize that into a startup company. This is what you have to do. You have to have a good basics of artificial intelligence AI. You should implement blockchain technology or robotics, machine learning, augmented reality or virtual reality, or 3D printing. And we do screening process, and then we select you under this scheme, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MEITY, which has an scheme called TIDE, TIDE. So we give complete incubation and acceleration support. So we do have startup companies in this area, electronics and engineering, IT and ITES, about 12 startups. They have several innovations, drone technologies, giving several applications in defense and space. We have the air purifiers. We have COVID related devices which will kill the virus and which can prohibit, which can act as an the geofencing prototype. Robotics, we do have several robots of the startups. Just I want to show you our infrastructure. A glance, this is our office space of incubation center. You can see here the office space cubicles for the startups. Each one company will be having a cubicle space, co-working space. And we have seminar halls. We have advanced, the display, interactive panel displays, high equipment for office utilization for a startup company. And we do have a biotechnology center with 1 ton production of any bio product you can manufacture, 1 ton production by using the fermenter. So we do have the accessory machineries for that at industrial scale, and you can do n number of products manufacturing, prototyping and product development, or even go to market strategy role. So we do have the high-end machinery in the incubation center. So this is the fermenter that would do a lot of innovations. Biodegradable sector. For the first time in India, we have installed and commissioned a machinery which will manufacture the bioplastic. Now the plastic is banned. We have come up with a bioplastic. Our startups are doing the bioplastic manufacturing by using this equipment. We are the one to do this 1.5 year back, and 1 ton production you can do. So now all the plastic will be replaced by this bioplastic, and we have accessory machinery for that. We have solar dryers. The solar dryers would help in vegetables and fruits, solar drying, retention of 100% ingredients. Few of the startups are doing very well. A complete food baking and biscuit manufacturing lane of 1 ton production per day. Any kind of food product you can do the innovation and come up with a product by utilizing our facility. We have freeze dryers. If you do the freeze drying of any product, food product, the shelf life can be increased to 10 years. Any food product shelf life will be only for 1 year, not maybe maximum 2 years, but it is for 10 years. This type of innovative machinery we have brought in our incubation center. We have grain and the food processing sector, under which several equipment for doing the processing of the foods. It may be the powders, it may be the paste. So anything you can do. We have socks making machinery, healthy socks, diabetic socks. 6 startups are there where they are doing the socks manufacturing, 1 lakh socks per month. We have the complete unit. We have connected them well with the banking sector schemes, good marketing mechanism. So we have 3D printing unit. We have a electronics and IT sector with all high-end softwares and electronic components, BOMs. So you can do the prototyping by using our 3D printers. I have not shown you the 3D printers over here. That's actually the recently one which we have. So now this is what about the incubation center is. I hope that you people have got, and I wish you all the best. And I want you students to come up, as I just mentioned about that every student should become an entrepreneur and a startup company. You should have start immediately working on your own innovation. Remember my points. You should have a good basic subject knowledge. You should have a thorough subject knowledge. Then you can come up with an innovation, and that happens through your faculty, through your college, which has a well-established labs and infrastructure. And remember that you need not look for any other infrastructure or any kind of person or any kind of support from other end. Your institution is enough. You have to utilize your institution well, and you have to utilize the infrastructure, equipment, machinery of your institution, and the faculty of the institutions plays a very great role, because they are your mentors, and you can develop a technology out of it very easily. And then you become a startup company and come up with a success story. So this is my end of the presentation.
Okay.
I thank all the organizers and the college managing director and chairman and faculty, department faculty and incubation center in charge, and everybody. Thank you very much. Students, if you have any questions, you can ask, or any faculty also. Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, for student point of view, what kind of startup registration we can go, sir? Whether it is the Section 8 or firm or LLP, which type of registration is helpful for the students?
You should do partnership first of all, and then you can later change it into private limited and LL.
Okay. Okay. Sirisha, madam.
Yes, sir.
Anything regarding the startups you can ask, madam.
So right now I don't have, sir. I'll personally talk to you, sir.
Yes, fine, madam.
Sir.
Yeah. Sir, today, whatever the views you have shared about the National Innovation and Startup Policy, you have given a plenty of knowledge to our students as well as the faculty members, sir. And also, I'm promising you, this lecture will make it available for all the faculty and students of IARE, sir. So we'll share this video also for all the faculty members. So whatever the content you have delivered, it is very much useful for us. Even we are at the starting stage, we are learning the basics in the innovation and incubation. So through your lecture, we learned a lot, sir. So in the future, whatever the things you shared, we'll follow. And we also taking forward our innovation center to the next level, sir.
Thank you. Sure.
Yeah, now I am requesting Sirisha Devi madam to conclude the session.
So thank you, sir. Once again, I would like to thank you for a wonderful session. So you have given a very good lecture on innovations, how the ideas should be nurtured, and how a startup can be given a kickstart. At what age they can start, and what should be their thought process, basically. So I hope the students have got enough knowledge on how to pursue their dreams, first of all, how to run behind it, how to face the current scenario of our corporate world to succeed. Right, sir? Thank you, sir. Thanks for the wonderful session. And I hope you have enjoyed also the same in our way, and in your way also, Kaniki. I hope the audience were good. So may I know your opinions and how about the session, how it was conducted?
Sorry, can you repeat the last?
So how
sentence?
was the session, sir?
Yeah, fine. That's what actually I want more of the students to interact more. And
Yes.
first year students, I know, even because I worked as a
They're kind of
professor.
introverts, sir. They
Yes,
are
yes,
stepping stone in the engineering right
yes,
now, first of all.
yes. So I have handholded most of these students, and during my academics even, because I do have a decade of experience in holding the students and making their careers. And where I have made about 7,000 students plus a one-to-one session I used to conduct during my teaching days, where my office is very much, it usually a very hectic day for me every day, because 5 to 6 students used to come to my office every day during my entire career, and people know very well about this, where I used to interact with them and do a career counseling, and molded them from a raw stage to a very good stage of their personality development, in terms of innovations, research, doing a business, making them into an entrepreneurs. So what I say is that the faculty should play a good role in guiding the students, motivating the students, and it should be in social mode, because one should not expect anything and then look for the growth of the student. That's what the guru is, the mentor is. And of course, you can have a minimum, as per the policy also now, you can have a minimum shareholding which will promote you, because you spend your valuable time and your energies into that. And the institution also should support very well, because the institution is the one which will makes all these people to come together. So institution, you need not look for a best institution always, because people say that I don't have this kind of facility, this that kind of facility. So that's not the way of talking. It's, you should work out on that. Even the faculty and students, both of them have excellent facilities, I can say. I will take usually a very good example of CV Raman always, where he don't have any sophisticated equipment, but he made several principles, Raman effect and all. And he got a Nobel Prize in those days. Just remember, now we do have advanced equipment in all areas. You take electronics, mechanical, electrical, civil, we have excellent sophisticated equipment. And what can we do? What can't we do? You shouldn't always look for reasons. You have to work out. That's all. That's what we say. And we, India, have a very great resources now. You should not always criticize, because I will say that directly. We have many ministries, about 50 plus ministries are there in India, which will help you out a lot of things. We have not even absorbed 1% out of it. What the resources, what kind of opportunities they give you. So it's more than enough, more than enough. And you need not think for any other opportunities from other countries. You just work for our country and then be here, and then you can find a way, because now avenues have been opened, people are coming up, and the government is coming up, and several stakeholders are helping you out. So it's an opportunity for you people. So when you are open, you can absorb and see the things coming to you yourself. So students, work out in that way, and then the platform is yours, and what you can do, you can achieve. You just have to set your goals and then achieve it. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session, sir.
Okay, sir. Yeah, fine.
Thank you.